Hi there, welcome to my channel. I found out now that I have a gluten intolerance. Hi, my name is Lori and this is Lori's Journey. I do videos about my life experiences, my faith, and I share with you what I learned along the way. I'm going to share with you about how I discovered that I have a gluten intolerance. They told me that I have acid reflux. So I've been dealing with this acid reflux problem for several years now. It's been very odd to me. I went to a doctor. I remember initially it really started 10 years ago. I was pregnant with my youngest daughter and I had horrible morning sickness, and I had the normal acid reflux and other symptoms that you have during pregnancy. Well, I remember that as soon as she was born, a few days later, the father of my child wanted to take me out to dinner. So we went to a nice steak restaurant. And that night when we were eating, I had this really weird feeling in my chest. It felt like I was choking, but nothing was coming up. And maybe that was the start of it, I don't know. But at any rate, after that time, I was having a horrible time with eating. I wasn't having the morning sickness symptoms, but I would eat food and it would come back up on me. It would always feel like it was getting stuck right in here. I would have to eat really slowly and I was having a horrible time. So I went into a doctor and they sent me to a specialist, which later on I ended up having a scope done. So they put me to sleep, put the tube down. When I was all over, he told me that I had acid reflux and that there was a whole lot of acid reflux damage. So they had actually widened my esophagus. Things were really great for a while. The widened esophagus really helped. And I was eating normally again. It was probably a good year later, I started feeling like it was shrinking back down. So I started having problems eating. And I thought, well, I guess this is just the way my life is gonna be. So fast forward a few years, off and on, I would have problems, but pretty much for the most part, I would be okay. I could eat spicy food, I could eat anything, and it didn't matter. I had no problems, but then once in a while, I would have usually a thicker cut of meat or a big dinner or something like that. Then all of a sudden, I would just really not be able to keep food down. So the last couple of years, I've been having a lot of problems again. And it's been slowly increasing, how often and other things like that. So about a year ago, right before I got married, I decided, okay, I'm gonna get this taken care of. Before we get married, I wanna make sure what's going on. Because I was also having problems with my heart. I'd be working out and my heart rate would just, it's hard to explain, but it just didn't feel right. So I went in and I was telling them about my acid reflux symptoms. I told them about my heart symptoms. And, well, I didn't say I had acid reflux, but I just told them the symptoms I was having, about how I would eat things and I would get sick. They went through the process. They checked my heart out and they said that I did have a little bit of something going on, but it wasn't anything too serious. And then another doctor checked me out he gave me a scope again. He ended up telling me again that I had acid reflux damage. They told me that I need to stay away from tomatoes, I need to stay away from spicy food, I need to stay away from anything fried. I mean, really, it was extremely limiting. There was no way I could eat like that. They put me on a medication and I was taking that and I noticed like teeniest little difference. So I kept taking it for a while, I think for about 3 months. And after that, I just wasn't even noticing any change anymore. So I stopped taking it. So I've been dealing with this off and on again throughout the past year. It was getting a lot better. I thought, wow, okay, whatever. I stopped taking medication, it gets better, so that's a little different. But I kept on going with life. I was trying to avoid the spicier foods and things like that. And then this summer, it just got really awfully bad all of a sudden. Well, this summer, I didn't really know what was going on, but I would start eating and I was trying to save money, so I was having a lot of sandwiches. You know, my daughter was here and I was trying to get a lot of things done at home. I was just getting sick a lot. First it was every couple of days, then it was every day. At one point in time, it was every single meal. And I am just so sick and tired of getting sick. Well, I was trying to eat foods that were not spicy, you know, and I started talking to a lady at church a few weeks ago. And I said, I don't know what's going on with this acid reflux. It was getting better because I was taking some antacids, but now it's getting to the point that I can't even eat a ham sandwich. I can't eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Every time I eat something like that, I get sick. But yet I go to Who Hot, I have no problems. That doesn't make sense. So she said something to the effect of, do you think it could be gluten? And I said, you know, I've kind of thought about it, but I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me. She went ahead and she gave me some gluten-free bread that she had in her freezer. She said she had tried going gluten-free and that was not her problem. So she gave this bread to me and said, go ahead and try this. I took it home and the next day I had a ham sandwich. I didn't get sick. So all that week I was eating from this bread that she had given me, and when I'd eat a sandwich or whatever with this bread, I would not get sick. But yet I would go to Dairy Queen and I would get really sick. So I decided this is worth checking into. So I started doing a lot of research on Google and YouTube, and I just wanted to hear other people's stories and what their symptoms were. And after watching a few videos, I was realizing these people's symptoms are a lot like mine. Everybody has a little bit different of a symptom, but some of the symptoms they're reporting, it sounds like what I'm feeling. So I decided I'm just gonna have to try it. Well, today I have been gluten-free for 3 weeks. And in that 3 weeks, the first couple of days, I was still getting sick. And after that, I haven't gotten sick once. There's been a couple of times I did eat some gluten, and I could definitely tell a difference. I could tell, I just felt like my throat in here was all getting swollen, if that makes any sense. And it just didn't feel right. But if I stay clear away from gluten, if I get a gluten-free bread or different options that there are, I don't feel that. So I have decided that I am gluten intolerant. I don't think I have an allergy. I could, maybe, I don't know. But I was told a few years ago when I took my daughter to a doctor that they can test you for gluten. There's so many positives and negatives that come out wrong, that are false positives and false negatives, that they don't even rely on the test anymore. This doctor told me that it was pretty much worthless. So there's no real point in going to get this test done if there's no way to tell if it's real or not. I am going to be continuing on this gluten-free lifestyle, and if it starts coming back, then I'll go to see a doctor about it. But for right now, this is what I'm doing. So I just wanted to share this with you and help someone else that might be out there struggling. Maybe you've been told that you have acid reflux and you're battling it like I was. Check out this gluten-free thing. It really, there's gluten hidden in so many different things, like soy sauce, for instance. There's gluten in that. And there's gluten in so many products that we eat on a daily basis and you wouldn't even think, as long as you can give it a try and see if that's your problem, to make yourself healthy. So I wanted to share this to help out someone that might be struggling right now. In my next video, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about the signs and symptoms of gluten intolerance. So until then, join the journey.